What is up, guys? Chase Oliver 68 here doing Q&A number 11. Yeah, I can't believe I've done 11 of these things. So remember, guys, if you guys want your questions answered in the next Q&A, just send them to me via inbox or on Twitter. And always Tuesday nights on Twitter, I always ask, if there's any last minute questions, because some people, they forget to send in questions. So let's get started with the questions. First question is, do you want to watch HHH versus Lesnar 3? Um, did you even think the first two were good? From at Amir Y2J. And I want to see this HHH versus Lesnar match more than the first two, mainly because it's inside of a steel cage and it's different than a no holds barred match. I thought the second one was much better than the first one. The first one I thought was like the worst, but I thought the second one was a really good match. I didn't think it was like all too bad. It was probably one of my favorite matches at Mania next to Punk and Taker. So I'm actually pretty excited to see this third one. Up next, at Dre Saxons asked me, where would you rank Ultimo Dragon amongst the best light heavyweights cruiserweights of all time? I got him at number one and ahead of Ray. You see, the thing is about Ultimo Dragon, you either saw him in Japan and you thought he was really, really good, or you didn't really see him at all and you really don't have a big opinion on Ultimo Dragon. And Ultimo Dragon is highly underrated by a lot of people in the internet wrestling community. A lot of people, probably only saw Ultimo Dragon from his WWE stint, and that was a terrible stint for him. He's definitely up there in top five. I would probably put him at number three for me personally. For me personally, I like Rey Mysterio and Billy Kidman more, but I would have him number three for me. Thank you for the question. At Sean Dream 91 asked me, what would you do with John Cena's character for the next 5 years? Well, I would have made him into a more aggressive babyface or more aggressive heel, either or. I would have him not be so heavily featured on the show. If anything, I would probably have his character, face off against big time guys, kind of like how they used The Rock and Brock Lesnar. I would have John Cena be a special attraction at this point. I wouldn't really have him be the main type of guy. I probably for the first 2 years, I think John Cena only has 2 good years left in him, and then afterwards it's just like 12 years in the business. Yeah, I think you're kind of up there in age. Let's just use you as a special attraction for like the first 2 years. I would have Cena probably, not turn heel, be babyface, but kind of have him lose his strap, face up and coming guys. Have it where at WrestleMania 31 he's in a retirement match against a really big up and coming star. He loses that match. Thank you, Cena chance, or he faces The Undertaker and loses that. Cena leaves the company, and then afterwards it's kind of like, oh, is Cena really retired? No, not really. Cena has a clause in his contract. He can wrestle whenever he wants. And Cena ends up, being a one-off type of guy. Shows up every once in a while for like the Summer Slams or the WrestleManias of the world to feud with other guys. So that's what I would have with John Cena. I would have him, kind of just being a ever so often appearance character in the WWE. So thank you for the Twitter questions. Up next, Will Ferrell, number one, asked me, did you ever watch The Golden Girls? And which one was your favorite? No, I did not watch The Golden Girls, Will Ferrell, number one. Second question is, will Owen Hart, Rick Rude, and Macho Man ever be inducted into the Hall of Fame? Macho Man probably sooner than later. Rick Rude most definitely. Owen Hart is a question mark. Do you like baseball? Yes, I do like watching baseball. I used to think it was boring, but I actually found more intrigue in it. Maybe because I got older and I just decided, hey, you know what? Maybe I do like baseball. Final Limits 1 asked me, have you ever been in a game or friends with people in a game? Nope. Just because I live in SoCal doesn't mean there's games, buddy. Number 2, have you ever got injured while lifting weights? Yep, I injured my back squatting too much weight, and I injured my shoulder doing one-arm dumbbell lifts. Number 3, do you chew tobacco before or after you work out or in the same day you work out? Nope, I do not chew tobacco in the same day I work out. Do you like, thank you for the questions, both of y'all. WCW3 count 1 through 3. Do you like cats? I'm allergic to cats. I don't mind them. I don't hate them, but I am allergic to them. If we were all around in the 80s and the same age we are now back then, would we be smarks and cheer for the heels and boo the faces like we do now, or we just cheer the faces and boo the heels, assuming they were internet back then? I don't know. Frankly, I just feel Macho Man would probably be like everyone's favorite because CM Punk is sort of like Macho Man in a way, with how Macho Man was smaller than most wrestlers. Um, You know, back then you also got to remember there wasn't Monday Night Raw back in the 80s. There wasn't like shows every single week for these wrestlers. The territorial system was also there as well. So it would be a totally different scene, and I honestly could not answer that question because my 80s knowledge is not really 100% up there. And yes, final question is, what if we had HD and YouTube and internet in the 80s? How would things be today in technology? Having trouble reading that last part, but uh, really interesting question. WCW 3 count 1 2 3. Problem is, I'm not a tech nerd. I don't know that much about RAM, gigabytes, or megabytes, or the chips that are involved in making today's technology. So you might want to have to ask someone that is really, really good with technology, understand those type of terms. If anything, we'd probably have 4D TVs by now. That's the best answer I could give you. We'd probably have like 3D computers, like the ones you see in the movies. We'll do this, like in fucking Iron Man, where he goes do. That's what we would have. I honestly don't know how I could answer that question. I don't even know if they could actually improve in the 80s. I think they would just kind of be like, we're good for the next 20 years, so why not? So yeah, I don't think we would actually improve. So interesting question though. 12 Cavillo Society asked me, to you, what was the best year and or worst year you watched from WWE from start to finish of the year? Best years for me were 2002 and 2004. I enjoyed both of those years throughout. The worst years for me personally were 2008 and then 2009. I literally just stopped watching wrestling for the rest of that year after WrestleMania. I just thought it was a piece of crap. I was just like, fuck this. I'm not watching this shit. And I got back into it when I heard Batista won the WWE. No, I got back into Royal Rumble 2010 because that's when I normally. Like, if I ever take a break from wrestling, I think the only time I will ever start watching again is like probably like January up until WrestleMania when I get older. That's probably like my plan, at least. If my wife is cool with it, that is. When I get a wife. Real Spider-Man the War Fan asked me, what are your thoughts on Obama being president of the USA and who did you vote for? Uh, Real Spider-Man the War Fan, I understand why you probably want to know my question, and I respect that you sent in this question. One of the things, though, is I honestly do not like to openly talk about politics on the internet for a reason. The reason being is my channel is not meant for me to talk about politics, okay? My channel is about sports, professional wrestling, MMA, and sometimes random shit about life. Politics for me is a touchy subject to go into because normally this is how it goes. I can state my reasonings all I want, but it doesn't matter because when I state my reasonings, there's always going to be that random person out there in the world that's going to say I'm a fucking idiot and I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't want to hear that from anyone, really, to be honest. And I know you probably, if you want to know, dude, I'll send you a private message. I'm going to send you a private message after this video saying who I voted for and the reasonings why. But other than that, I'm not going to openly say in a Q&A video who I voted for and why because I don't want to deal with politics openly on the internet. I'll talk to people one-on-one privately about it, but I don't want to deal with it openly on the internet because I really don't have time to debate politics with people on the internet for no reason. And if you want to debate me in politics, it'll be the same thing. I have no time. I already debated enough politics with all my friends. I don't need to debate politics with more people, okay? I'll debate wrestling and sports, but not politics. Politics is just too much of a touchy subject for a lot of people. Uh, so yeah, I'll send you a private message who I voted for. Why did you shave your head bald? Because I wanted to. There's no reason behind it. I just wanted to. And he's also asking me thoughts on all these wrestling games, so I'm going to go by quickly. Thoughts on WWE 13? Okay game. Better than 12 in a way. WWE 12. One of their best games in a while. SBR 2011. Shit. SBR 2010. Shit. SBR 2009. It was okay. SBR 2008. Holy fucking shit. That is terrible. Yeah, those are my thoughts on all those games. I'm not going to go discreet into it. If you ask me just one wrestling game, I would go into deep thoughts. But you asked me like pretty much all the wrestling games back that were made. So, yeah. Anyways, the Gochi man asked me a question. Why do a lot of people hate Miley Cyrus? Because Miley Cyrus acts like a stuck-up bitch. She doesn't really need to act like a stuck-up bitch. She was featured heavily on Disney Channel as a fake character, Hannah Montana. If anything, Hannah Montana was more successful than Miley Cyrus, and pretty much she wants to move away from that. And guess what, bitch? You will never move away from it. It's not like, you were some hot shit before Hannah Montana. No one really knew who you were. So, yeah, maybe that's why people hate Miley Cyrus. Will Raw ever go back 2 hours sooner or later? Because 3 hours it just drags on and it's way too much TV show. It should go back to 2 hours, but knowing the WWE, they think 3 hours is great. It does drag on. And the thing is, though, NFL games go on for 4 hours plus. NBA games go on for 4 hours. You know, to me, I understand why WWE wants them to go 3 hours because that's what most sporting events do. They go on for a long period of time. But to me personally, there's no point for them to continue this 3 hours. It's just too long of an episode. It's kind of boring sometimes to watch. I just have no interest in really watching 3 hours of Raw, but I understand why WWE's doing it. Carson440 asked me, what did you think of Gregory Helms' long reign as Cruiserweight Champion? It was pointless. He held the title and didn't do jack shit with it. It was kind of like one of those useless title reigns. I was just like, why in the blue hell is he Cruiserweight Champion? He wasn't really defending it all that much, and he lost it to, like, he didn't even lose the belt, like, fairly. He lost it in the Cruiserweight Open. So it was kind of dumb. In your opinion, who are some of the hottest celebrities? Like I said, my celebrities are not really the best, but Jennifer Aniston always gets to me. So I'll choose her. Do you think the WWE is now treating SmackDown like a filler show? Because that's how I feel. Well, they've been treating SmackDown like a filler show since 2010. So yeah, I agree with you. They have been treating SmackDown like a filler show. I mean, pretty much like all it is just like, oh, you didn't see this on Monday Night Raw? Well, here it is on fucking Friday Night SmackDown. Like, there's really for some feuds there are build-ups, but other than that, there's nothing really interesting to watch SmackDown. I mean, back in the day, I liked how they did it back in like 2004. You know, where it was just like Raw had all the main featured players, good mid-card guys, and a lot of jobbers, while SmackDown had a lot of the younger talent, a bunch of veterans out there to help the younger talent. And once that younger talent was really big enough and really good enough, they would send them over to Monday Night Raw, and then Raw would send over one of their guys who were a veteran, and SmackDown will build up the younger talent, Raw will build up the older talent. You know, that's what I like, but nowadays they don't really do that. But that's it for the Q&A. Anyways, thank you guys for sending the questions. Keep on sending them in. You guys know how to inbox or the Twitter device. You can use that. You can download a Twitter app. I mean, WWE likes to plug their WWE app, so I'll plug the Twitter app. Anyways, guys, if you guys liked me, you can either subscribe by clicking the little icon right here or down below. Like this video for Q&As. What else is there? Follow me on Twitter at ChaseOliver68, and I'll see you all later. This is ChaseOliver68. See you next time, guys. Peace!